Well, hey there everybody, it's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast, and it is that time of the week again to look at 3 brand new songs for the new music review. I'm gonna listen to them and tell you what I think. I want you to listen to them too, to tell me what you think of them. So let's just go ahead and dive into this right now, because I just ramble other than that. Okay, so first up we have a name that I never thought would actually come up in one of my reviews before. Demi Lovato. I know, it's so strange, right? We're talking like mega pop star / former star of the Disney Channel, Demi Lovato. She just dropped a brand new album back on August 19th called Holy F. I'm not gonna say the whole name because YouTube doesn't like when you swear in the first minute or two. But regardless, that's what it's called, and it's quite the departure from her poppier and R&B stuff. It's much more like, you know, pop punk, pop rock, heavy rock, like hard rock and everything like that. It definitely feels like a different direction for her, so I figured I'd take a look at it. Or take a listen to it. I think that's what I meant to say. So as far as I've read, this is pretty much as close and as comfortable as she wants to get to her preferred style of musical approach, I guess. It's easy to see that I don't know too much about her, so I don't want to be speaking as if I do. She's apparently a big rock and metal fan, and she's been like that her whole life, so like it only makes sense that she would finally start diving into something like this. So I'm taking a look at one of the songs from this album called Holy F, and the song is called Bones. This isn't exactly a single from the album, but this is the new music review, and the song is new music, so I think it definitely counts. So we're immediately greeted by this clunky and grungy bass guitar that eventually morphs into what I can only describe as like this rock or disco type beat. A heavier version of it, very chuggy style of riff, but that's what it is. The drums are pretty simplistic, but it drives the song along, it really keeps the pace, and there's definitely an energy there to be felt. So right off the top, it's already a lot of fun. The song is constantly building throughout the verse. You get to the pre-chorus, it's just more of a tease, and then you finally get to this like big explosive loud chorus. It's really great too, like I could see this one getting a crowd jumping. It's like very exciting to hear. Going beyond this, there's not much more to talk about because it kind of just loops back on itself. Not that that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying like nothing tremendously more is added. The only thing I could really point out was in the second verse that these harmonies started coming in, like vocal harmonies. They sounded really good, but I imagine someone like Demi Lovato, that's not even an issue for, so it sounds good here too. The song is just under 3 minutes, so that's also why I don't really have a whole lot to say for it, but I will say that overall, I can't say that I saw this one coming. It's a really fun track, like even lyrically, and I mean like these lyrics are very sexually driven, and that's quite kind of obvious when you're reading through them. But from what I understand in her other works in this album, everything is a lot darker and deals with her like mental health issues, drug addictions that she's faced in the past. So having a song like this and just letting loose is obviously a very good thing to have in that mix. Now, as stated previously, I'm not entirely familiar with Demi's past works. Obviously, it's a lot more poppier, it's a lot more R&B, it just wasn't my thing. But that's not me insulting Demi Lovato at all. Obviously, she's a very fantastic singer, very powerful voice, and she uses that very, very well. But I do like the direction this one's going in. This one feels different. I know that she's kind of done like poppier punk stuff back in like the late 2000s. I still wasn't into that either, but this album feels different. As a matter of fact, special shout out to the song Eat Me that I heard, which features Royal and the Serpent, I can speak clearly, who I've covered previously on the new music review. And that one's like a kind of a grungier, almost like industrial hard rock feeling kind of song. It was really interesting to hear that and just where this album is trying to go. Maybe I like this song because it's the rock fan of me that likes it. Maybe I like this because I respect when an artist gets fearless enough to be able to just kind of go for what they want. Maybe I like the song just because this is exactly what she wants to do. Maybe not exactly. Again, I don't know her too well and I don't know what she's kind of aiming for, but with this one, whatever she was aiming for, I think she hit it. I think it's a pretty decent track. Alright, so next up on my little list here, we have the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So if you remember, not too long ago, I reviewed one of their previous singles off of their most recent album, Unlimited Love, which was released back in April 2022. So here we are in August 2022, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, are you still pushing out singles for this like album that you just dropped? I mean, like, isn't it getting a little late into the game to do that? But no, because this is the very first single off of a brand new upcoming album slated for release in October 2022 called The Return of the Dream Canteen, or to think it's just Return of the Dream Canteen. Regardless, you get it. Like, wow, 2 full-length albums, like half a year apart from each other. I guess when John Frusciante rejoined the band, it just like lit a huge creative fire under their ass. But anyways, yes, this is the very first single from that brand new upcoming album. It's called Tip of My Tongue. Drum roll, please! No, really, drum roll please, because that's exactly how the song starts. You have some strings that accompany that drum roll as well, you know, just the bass and the guitar and everything like that. It feels like it's building up to something, so I'm expecting some sort of boom, you know, at some point, but that doesn't really happen. It breaks into this slower, kind of funkier groove that definitely has touches of old and new Chili Peppers all over it. I can definitely say that confidently when I say old Chili Peppers, because they even say the words funky monks are on the run, so, I mean, hello, waving at the Blood Sugar Sex Magik album. So the song is about 4 minutes long, maybe I think just a little longer than 4 minutes. The biggest problem here is that anything that this song can give you, it's given to you like in the first half of this song. Other than that, it just kind of like goes back and loops back on itself, so it kind of kills the excitement of anything it could possibly do. The best example of this is that in the middle of the song, the drum roll and strings kind of come back, starts building up again and again, but because that we've already reached the halfway point and it's doing this build up again, you think something more grandiose would suddenly burst through your speakers, be a little more exciting. It doesn't have to be huge energy, but you just make it a grand feeling, you know? But no, it loops back to the slow, funky groove again. It felt super anticlimactic. Overall, the song is alright. It doesn't necessarily sound terrible or anything, but it's definitely nothing special. It had potential in certain moments, but it never really left the ground, and I don't know, I hope the new album doesn't just keep falling flat like this one did. And finally on my list here we have Silversun pickups, and I'm so glad that they're back. I actually really like them. I feel like they're underappreciated. They just dropped a brand new album called Physical Thrills, and with it a brand new single called Empty Nest, so I think we should just go ahead and take a listen. I mean, we were going to anyway. The song is a very straightforward style of composition, because I mean, like, you have these like chopper affected guitars just pushing everything along. You have this very simplistic kind of like drum march that drives through pretty much the entire track. It's decently paced, so at the very least it's not like a sleeper or anything. So the dual vocals between the two singers, which happens a lot in Silversun Pickup's music, it's probably the most standout part of the entire track, because I mean, they're mixed so close to the front of like the entire track. But not only that, the vocals actually tend to carry most of the melody of the song as well, so without it, I don't know what the song would be. The second half of the song does change things up just a little bit. I mean, there are some pattern changes in there kind of mixed in. There's these airy atmospheric layers that are kind of like breathing in the background a little bit, adds like a little bit more to listen to the song, I guess. It's nice. But then my biggest issue is the final verse, where these like the chopper effect that's on the guitar ends up going on the vocals, and it's nearly a cappella. I don't know why they did it. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't enhance the song. Like, it doesn't do anything to make anything else better. It just, if anything, feels like it's cheapened the experience. Overall, I know I said some mostly negative things, and also I didn't really say a lot at all, because again, this is another one of those tracks that there wasn't really a lot to say for. But it's still, you know, it was a decent enough track. I do like it. It's not exactly anything like special or huge, and I don't think I would expect that from like this brand new song from this album. But at the same time, it's a very user-friendly track. It's very fun, easy to get into. I would check it out at least once. And that is the new music review for the week, so thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that you did check out these tracks. Let me know what you thought of them down below in the comments. I'm always curious to know about your opinion. Me and Savannah are both curious to know what you think about the song, so please go ahead, let us know down in the comments. You can also let us know over on our social media at Rate the Record Podcast, over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are there, we're hanging out, you know where to find us. And if you need one giant spot to find us, it's ratetherecord.ca. That's where all the streaming links are, that's where all the social medias are, and there's probably some other things too, so go ahead and check it out. As if I don't know my own website. And don't forget to check out the podcast every Monday. You know, season 3 has kicked off now, so we're into that, and we just recently released episode 46, where we looked at Oasis and their album What's the Story Morning Glory, so make sure you go back and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Is it a good album? Did we like it? You're gonna have to find out. And on the note of checking out content as well, we are actually at the point of releasing this in the middle of kind of like an anniversary week type thing. So this past Tuesday, August 23rd, was actually the 1-year anniversary of the Rate the Record podcast, like when we finally launched it and started it. So we did release a video on YouTube called it was like the mixtape tape exchange or something like that. Basically, Savannah and I, we think after a year we finally figured out each other's musical taste, so we exchanged mixtapes to see how close we could be. So like, how close are we to like knowing each other's musical taste? How close are we in general? I guess that's the perfect way to find out, so go make sure you watch that video. And next Monday's episode of the Rate the Record podcast is actually the 1-year anniversary of our very first episode of Rate the Record podcast when we once looked at Pearl Jam's 10 album for episode 1 so long ago. Oh my god, it's weird to think about. So, we do have our 1-year anniversary special coming out on Monday, so make sure you tune in for that as well. It's going to be fantastic. And that's all I have to say. That's all I have to sell to you right now. Savannah will be back next week with her own new music review, but until then, go listen to some awesome music, and we'll see you again real soon. So take care, friends.